Welcome to the Raise Your Energy podcast. My name is Linda Lange and I'm your host and energy expert. I was asked recently to talk about the all or nothing mentality. What is it and what can we do if we keep finding ourselves in this black or white thinking, and how does it actually get created? So find out the answers to all of those questions in this episode. Let's begin. Do you struggle with an all or nothing mentality? Or do you maybe know somebody closely to you in your life that does struggle with that or uses it a lot? Then you and them, they are not alone. You are not alone. I believe that at some point in our life, we can all get into that all or nothing thinking. So please don't feel like there's something wrong with you. See it more as a symptom. And if you're in a phase in your life where you overuse it, then take it as a sign to look closer, to dig deeper into where it's coming from and what it's trying to tell you. That's how I see this kind of mentality. It's a sign. It's a symptom. It's trying to tell you to look closer. And obviously, if you are listening to me right now and feel touched by what I'm saying, you are already looking closer. You already became aware of it, and now you're looking for answers to the questions: why, what is it, and how can I overcome it? I'm going to share with you what I have experienced when I observe this all or nothing thinking in myself, and what I know about the brain and body to make sense of how this actually gets created in the first place. And like with any other symptom, if it's untreated, it usually gets worse. So we are pretty good at reading symptoms of sickness like the flu or an allergy or a pulled muscle, but we are not yet that good at seeing symptoms in our mental health and then actually do something about it, understand them, and really know the next step to take to get ourselves in a better mental state. That's what I like to concentrate on in this episode. For you to fully understand what this all or nothing thinking might be trying to tell you and why it happens in the first place. By understanding what it is and how it gets created, you can see it much more objectively and then take action from it. It's very hard to see it for what it is when you are in the middle of that all or nothing thinking pattern. And I will tell you soon why actually that is. You will discover that as well today. So let's look at the symptom in itself first. How does the all or nothing mentality show up in our lives? Here are a couple of examples for you. So Angela has been asked to a meeting with her boss on the next day. She's not really clear on what it's about, so she is ruminating on possible reasons for this meeting. Angela is a good employee. She's always giving her best. But a month ago, she made a mistake and one of her clients really got upset. In her mind now, she is going to that all or nothing thinking. This is about this incident. The client probably called my boss and complained about me and told him how upset he was about my mistake. Maybe I even get fired over it. And if I can get one client upset, who knows, I might get them all upset. Oh no, it's all of my fault that I won't have a job anymore and an income anymore. What am I going to do? So you see, that is this typical all or nothing thinking pattern that literally gets you down a rabbit hole. Angela actually found out on the next day that her boss was very happy with how she actually handled that upset client and wanted her to mentor somebody else in her team who struggled with some other clients as well. So there was really no reason for her to worry. Another example I have for you is Tony, who has been raised in a very structured home where it was very important to always be on time and to do all of your chores when you were supposed to. Now Tony has 3 children and him and his partner are working full-time as well. His reality looks a lot more chaotic than what he experienced and what he was told in his childhood. So when he gets stressed, he actually goes to that all or nothing thinking. I am useless in my life. I am useless at managing my life. I'm not cut out to be a parent. We are never really on time and it's just so embarrassing. What is wrong with me? So this was another example of the all or nothing mentality. Do you find yourself beating yourself up over just small mistakes? Or you throw in the towel on a new habit just because you missed one day or one action. Or you don't really believe any positive feedback that you receive, but you always just concentrate on that one comment of your colleague. These are all some kind of all or nothing thinking. There are lots of different levels of how negative it can get. But I hope you understand the general concept of this mentality now better, okay? I want to talk to you about 2 important understandings of what happens during this mindset. And these are triggers and the resulting stress response out of it. Usually we get triggered by something or someone, and because of this trigger, we can respond then with that all or nothing mentality. And those triggers would have been created due to past events, either at any point in your life when you experienced a high emotional state, but predominantly these triggers get created during our childhood when we are still very suggestible to information. Just look at the example from Angela. Just because her boss asked her for a meeting, she did not need to think the worst would happen. Lots of other people would have just stayed very neutral, or some of them might even think something positive is going to happen. But Angela was triggered. A memory or a belief, something that happened to her before, made her get stressed and worried. She assumed the worst, and either she experienced something similar before where she did get a bad message from a boss, or someone else told her that bad things happen when your boss asks you for such a meeting. Due to her having this information or experience in her inner world, she was triggered and her stress response spiraled her into this all or nothing mentality. Let me actually give you an example of when I was heavily triggered recently. It was when I drove to Austria just about a month ago, and it was about a 6-hour drive plus some break time. So after 4 hours and a quick break, I got back into the car, I put in the destination into my GPS and started driving. And the direction suddenly took me cross-country instead of the motorway. But I thought that might be due to traffic on the motorway, so I just kept on driving. After 30 minutes of driving, I realized that I was going the wrong way. My GPS just decided to suggest a different destination with the same name as my hotel, but much closer to my hometown. And I did not realize that that's what I was clicking on when I put it into the GPS. So in the end, I had to drive all the way back, those 30 minutes again, and in total lost an hour of time. When I realized what just happened, I was deeply triggered. I did not know why, and I still can't really pinpoint it to a particular memory, but suddenly I had these thoughts of, why would something like that happen to me? I trusted this GPS and it sent me all the wrong way and made me waste an hour of my precious time. I am so useless, and how can I be so fooled and not check it earlier and see the mistake earlier? I am just so stupid. And you can imagine the kind of emotions that came up for me as well at that moment. I was deeply hurt. I was so frustrated with myself, and I even cried because I was so angry with myself. I know, wow, right? A complete overreaction to the situation. Especially given that I had no specific time when I needed to arrive in the first place. But I knew what was happening at that moment. And thankfully, I know how to process those emotions and how to deal with those thought spirals, with that all or nothing mentality and thinking when it actually happens. And I know as well which tools to apply to get out of that stress response again and stop those spiraling thoughts. But this is what happens. Some buried or unprocessed memory or event or belief gets triggered. And off you go with that all or nothing mentality. The second factor that plays a huge role in this all or nothing thinking is your innate stress response. This trigger might not even be that impactful, but when you are already in a stressed state of being, the impact of this trigger gets amplified. If you would be in a calm and peaceful state, the same situation would not trigger you. You would be able to either just brush it off or would not even realize of what just happened. But when you're already in a very stressed state, this situation suddenly triggers you big time. And it was just the last straw for you to go into this all or nothing thinking. Does this make sense to you? Yeah, I bet it does. So looping this back now to what I said at the beginning, that the all or nothing thinking is a symptom. So it means that either you got heavily triggered and there is something to look closer to, or that you're already in a very prolonged state of stress and it does not take you a lot for you to get to this kind of thinking. Next time when you catch yourself or you have just realized afterwards that you were in this all or nothing thinking, ask yourself these questions. Was I just triggered, or was this reaction warranted? Or might there be a reason inside of me that made me react that strongly? Am I stressed out already for quite a while and this was just one other thing that took me over the edge to fall into this all or nothing thinking? If it's a trigger that you came across and with a bit of distance you can see that someone else might have reacted much less strongly or not at all, you want to look closer and see what this is telling you. Usually triggers mean that you are ready to let something go or to resolve something because it does not serve you anymore. And being triggered is a sign from your subconscious mind that you are ready to work through this now. If you want to learn more about triggers and what to do about them, watch the episode 66, How Do I Stop Myself from Being Triggered? I will link to it here and underneath the video. And if it's your stress that made you think that way, then use tools like breathing, meditation, tapping, or any other tools to release that stress from your life. And if you think that the stress is consistent in your life and you don't really have the tools to deal with it, I will link to another few episodes that will help you with that. I hope this episode has helped you to get more clarity about the all or nothing thinking. Now that you understand what happens when it happens, you have now the distance to check in with yourself and see where it came from. And all it then needs is your willingness to do something about it. And as I said, any symptom untreated gets worse over time. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave me a thumbs up if you liked this episode. And with that, I love you and leave you. Talk soon and bye-bye.